Yo everyone, what is going on? Welcome to the video. And first and foremost, I actually want to say thanks. So last week or after last week's video, I got so many messages from people, and it was kind of the first time, you know, I've been doing YouTube for quite a while, but that was probably the first time that I've actually kind of realized or felt like people watch my stuff on a weekly basis, and yeah, that people actually care. So it was a good feeling. And yeah, I suppose it's just good to know that I can be open and honest with how I'm feeling, because screw it, like, we are only human. Like, everybody feels stressed from time to time, everybody feels low from time to time. So I'd much rather be that person that just kind of comes out and says, yeah, I've been stressed, yeah, I've been feeling low, as opposed to this person that just tries so hard to put on this big fake happy facade. Hate that so much. So yeah, thanks. And today I am gonna change the protein ice cream game. So I've had my fair share of protein ice cream in the past, and don't get me wrong, it is good. I recognize that it is 100% a good recipe, but I've always kind of thought there was something missing from it, something that turns it from a good recipe into a great recipe. So, you know, I've made some little tweaks and I have definitely improved. So yeah, before we get going, please take 2.3467 seconds out of your day to scroll down a little bit and smash the thumbs up button. As I always say, every single thumbs up goes a long way. So take that 2 seconds out of your day, please, because it helps my videos reach a bigger audience. So go do it, please. Are you ready for today's video, young man? You don't care, do you? Why are you giving me those guilty eyes? Huh? Did you do something? Okay, let's get this protein ice cream show on the road. It's actually going to be more of a sorbet, what you will see. And I'm going to start by adding 300 grams of frozen mango to a blender. You could also use frozen pineapple. I'm going to add 30 ml of 0-calorie maple syrup, 30 ml of water, and 30 grams of protein powder. I am going with cookies and cream, but I think vanilla would work really well here as well. I'm also going to add half a teaspoon of xanthan gum. I got this on eBay, but you will find it in your local health store, something along those lines. And it actually isn't essential, but it is going to kind of thicken up the mixture a little bit more and add a little bit more volume. Then I'm gonna put the lid on, blend for about 20 seconds or so. Then I'm gonna add a few cubes of ice. You don't need to go crazy here, because the more ice you add, although it will be more voluminous, it will kind of take away from the flavor. So you just don't want to go crazy on the ice. And let's blend it up again. Okay, now that my ice is pretty much fully dissolved, I am going to loosen the mixture up a bit by adding about 50 or 60 ml of water. And we blend again. Okay, we are looking good. Are we tasting good? Let's spoon this baby out. Let's mix it up and then smooth it over a little bit. But instead of eating it now, I'm actually going to put it in the freezer for like 2 or 3 hours, just so it turns into a bit of a sorbet as opposed to an ice cream. So yeah, I'll show you the finished product at the end of the video, and just wait until you see the texture of it. The texture alone is just so good. Okay, so before I go to my next meal, I do want to let you know that there is currently a sale on my Nutrition Hub, and if you use the code NUTRITION at the checkout, you get 10% off. And honestly, if nutrition is something that you are struggling with lately, or maybe it is something that you've struggled with pretty much all of your life, then the Nutrition Hub is definitely the place for you. You get access to my own personal calorie and macro calculator, so you can set your calorie and macro targets based specifically on you and your goals. So calories, protein, carbs, fats, fiber, water, all taken care of. You get access to all of my recipes, and for each recipe there is a video, there is a full calorie and macro breakdown, there is ingredients, there is directions, and these aren't just a few recipes thrown together. There is a ton of recipes for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, for snacks, for dessert. So honestly, if you find it really tough to find actual tasty and easy to make meals to help you stay on track with your goals, this is an absolute game changer. So yeah, as I said, use the code NUTRITION at the checkout. This code will only be available for a limited time only, so I will leave the link to the Nutrition Hub in the comment section below, and you can go check it out. Okay, so my next recipe is a very quick, very easy, very delicious breakfast recipe. It is perfect for anyone who basically isn't a morning person, doesn't like doing anything in the morning, doesn't like preparing food in the morning, basically rolls out of bed like 10 or 15 minutes before they need to be somewhere. This is ideal for you. And if you are someone who likes to bring your breakfast to work or to school, basically you want a portable breakfast, then this would definitely work. And even though it is typically a meal that you would have in the morning, this is something that, you know, if I had to have it at one time of the day, it would probably be in the evening time, because, you know, it is on the sweeter side of things, and it just works best for me, you know, looking forward to that meal for the whole day. But you can obviously have it whenever it suits you best. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm gonna start by adding 40 grams of porridge oats to a bowl or container if you want. I'm gonna add 80 ml of low-fat milk, 100 grams of fat-free yogurt. I am going with vanilla flavor, 10 grams of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of sweetener, 40 grams of chocolate whey protein, and let's mix it all together until everything becomes nice and smooth. So this is how we are looking. Obligatory lick of the spoon. And if you are making this in a bowl, you can cover with some cling film, and then you can just leave your oats to soak in the fridge for at least 2 hours. And you know, if you're having your overnight oats in the morning, you can obviously just prepare it the evening before and let them soak overnight. Okay, so as you can see, I was very prepared. I made this last night as well in a little container just to show you how handy it is. Let's give it a taste. That is actually close to a 10 out of 10 in terms of taste. It genuinely tastes amazing. And it might not look like the biggest meal, but it is actually quite filling as well. So number one, it has 50 grams of protein. Protein is the most filling macronutrient. Number two, 100 grams of raspberries, only 52 calories-ish in 100 grams of raspberries, but add a good bit of volume to the meal. And also overnight oats, they're quite rich, you know, the whole soaking of the milk with the oats and the yogurt, it makes everything quite dense. So even though it is not huge, you do kind of naturally take your time eating it, you naturally kind of savor it, and as a result, by the end of the meal, you're feeling pretty good. So yeah, I think it is a really, really good all-round option, and you can, you know, get really creative with overnight oats. There's like a billion recipes out there, but this one is really good. Okay, so next up is a meal that myself and Rach would probably have on a semi-regular basis, I would say. It's actually typically really high in calories. Like if you were going to a restaurant and ordering this meal, it would make a sizable dent in your calorie intake for the day. But yeah, with a few little tweaks, it's actually really calorie and macro friendly, and it is delicious as well, especially if you like Italian. Okay, so I'm gonna add 40 grams of whole wheat pasta to a pot of boiling salted water. And as the pasta cooks away, I'm gonna add 150 grams of mushrooms to a pan, 120 grams of chopped up bacon medallions, and half an onion as well. And now that everything is almost cooked, onions are looking nice and brown, I'm gonna add some vegetable stock to the frying pan. So I mixed 1 stock cube with 250 ml of water, and I'm gonna add half. And I'm just gonna cook it on a high heat and stir frequently until the liquid reduces by about half. And as that cooks away, I'm gonna crack 1 egg into a bowl. I'm gonna add 15 grams of this lightest Philadelphia, which is just low-fat soft cheese. I'm gonna add some black pepper into the mix, and I'm gonna mix it all together. Okay, we are looking good over here. I'm gonna add my spaghetti into the mix, mix it all up. I'm gonna add it into a bowl, sprinkle on 10 grams of 30% less fat cheese. I am going to pour my egg mix in very slowly, mix it all together. And it's so important that you don't pour the egg mix on while it's on heat, because it will just turn into scrambled egg, literally. And depending on who you are trying to impress, you can add some parsley to the top. If you want to impress yourself, go ahead. And another 5 grams of 30% less fat cheese. As ridiculously good as this meal is, I just got a brainwave there. Why didn't I add smoked paprika to the medallions? Genuinely thinking of taking another week off YouTube, because obviously I'm just not thinking straight. No, but seriously, everything about this meal is just so on point. Like, aesthetics are on point. Look at that. If you are trying to impress somebody, this is the meal to make. It has less than 500 calories, over 40 grams of protein, and that kind of calorie to protein ratio is really, really good for a pasta-based dish, especially if you know you're going to a restaurant. The calories are probably going to be at least double, and there is also a ton of veg in there as well, and that's what really makes the difference here. So typically speaking, you know, pasta dishes are not that filling, so it is important that you get the veg in. So yeah, I think I found a pretty good balance here. I also think that peas would go well in here, or maybe some broccoli. Definitely peas though. Oh, Bruno! Bruno! you go. Bruno. Bruno. Fuck! Okay, let's check out this sorbet. Okay, so this is an absolute game changer. And as I said before, one of my favorite things about this sorbet is the texture. So unlike protein ice cream, which can kind of feel like a little bit airy at times, it kind of feels like you're eating nothing, each spoonful of this is just a lot more significant. So even though, you know, protein ice cream is typically more voluminous, you might see a bigger bowl than this for the same number of calories. Seeing as there is a lot more texture to this, you know, in comparison to a bowl of protein ice cream, this is gonna keep you just as full. And then the real difference as well is in terms of taste. So again, with protein ice cream, it can feel a little bit bland at times, depending on, you know, how much ice you add and how much xanthan gum you add, which, you know, some people add a lot. And even though, you know, that might look good, it might look big and great, you know, you probably know from experience, if you've tasted some people's protein ice cream recipes, as soon as you taste them, you're like, well, this is kind of shit. Whereas with this, it's kind of like the perfect balance between quality and quantity. Like, you add a little bit of xanthan gum to, you know, thicken it up a bit, add a little bit of ice to make it more voluminous, but just don't go way overboard, because, you know, you're just gonna ruin the taste. And speaking of taste, let's give it a go. Unreal, honestly, on a different level to protein ice cream recipes, hands down. Alright everyone, I'm gonna wrap the video up there. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed today's recipes. Make sure you comment below and let me know if you did. Maybe there's one in particular that you were definitely gonna try. I would love your feedback. And as you know, every single thumbs up goes a long way, every single comment goes a long, long way as well. So if you do comment, I would really, really appreciate it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you are all keeping well, everyone. And I will see you next week.